Alright, hello everyone. I'm about to do a quick little makeup look. I just filmed a video that I feel like is so, okay. Y'all know I've said in other videos how, anytime I share my opinions, videos, or share, certain videos on certain topics, you know, sometimes people get offended, especially if I talk about, my faith at times, but I made a video pretty much explaining, why is it not working? Sorry, I'm trying to get my, oh, did I not plug in the right one? And I didn't. So my old cord I used to use for this mirror, it stopped working. So now it's just more complicated, but it's really not that big of a deal. Okay, anyways, I just wanted to do a quick chit chat, get ready with me. I have some other makeup products I've recently purchased that I haven't tried. And actually, I do have this some of the Twilight New Moon makeup from ColourPop. So I only got two things. Last time, the first Twilight palette that came out, I bought the entire collection. This time, I literally just got the palette and a lip kit because I had a coupon that was like $12. It was 50% off. The palette was $24, and then in order to get free shipping, I had to spend at least $30. So I definitely got like a deal. I got the palette for basically $12, and then I want to say this kit was like $16 or something. Anyways, that was a very long story, but I think I might try that in a separate video, although I am wearing red. So do I try it or not? Maybe I'll just make this using my new moon stuff. Why not? I mean, I didn't really feel like it. I wasn't really planning on using that today. We'll save it for another time because I just don't have the energy. Also, I probably want to do that on my TikTok so I can link the palette in the video, because I did it on sorry, do y'all see me picking at my skin? I feel like my skin's breakouts seem to have gotten 10 times worse, and I hate it for me, but it is what it is, I guess. Here, I'm gonna add some more lighting so that my video looks a little more professional. Anyways, what was I saying? So basically, I just filmed a video that I feel like is probably going to be kind of controversial. Well, I know what I'm saying is controversial, but I also feel like I'm saying the truth. And you know what? I've talked about Candace Owens before, and I feel like people can say what they like or don't like about her, but one thing I feel like she has inspired me to do is to speak my mind and my opinions unapologetically about things. Candace Owens has never been scared of cancel culture, and I love that for her because people hate her. She gets so much hate on the daily basis because of her political views and whatnot, which I've talked so many times about why I think there's no reason to hate someone just because you don't agree with them politically. I feel like people need to be able to still show respect to people, whether or not they like their political opinions or not. And I feel like James Charles, most recently, is a perfect example of that because he made this disgusting video, disgustingly rude, really, mocking RFK Jr. for the way he talked because he doesn't agree with RFK Jr. politically, right? But what he ignored is that RFK Jr. literally has a speech disability that literally affects the way he talks. And so he just got on TikTok and made a video making fun of him, mocking him, just because he thinks it's okay to make fun of him because he doesn't agree with him politically. And he's getting canceled because he's literally making fun of this man who has a disability. And it was just a really gross video. Like, there's no reason to talk about people, anybody like that. And I'm glad more people are waking up to just how, like, it's not okay to talk, like, attack people personally just because you don't like their political views. And I really hope we are moving to a point where people can just agree to disagree again and not be so, you know, just like be so rude or make, you know, nasty comments about someone just because they don't like them. Just be more, what's the word? I can't think of the word. Like, just get along. You know, you don't have to like someone's political opinions, but that doesn't mean they're horrible people. It doesn't mean that you should wish harm or ill will to them, which is other things I've seen people do. It's just like, it's pretty disgusting behavior, in my opinion, personally, to wish harm be done to someone because you don't agree with them politically. I feel like that, in my opinion, says more about that person than the person who holds the opinion. You know, it's never okay to just be hateful or rude or make fun of someone or mock someone simply because you don't agree with their political views. You can attack that person's political views, you don't attack that person. And I feel like that's where I feel like it's a maturity thing basically, because in a political debate, you're not debating that person's personality or personal traits. You're debating what that person says. And if you can't win a debate without personal attacks, that just shows how immature, or that you don't have an argument against what that person's actually saying. You know, in a debate, you're debating the policies, you're debating that person's stances, but you're not debating that person's personal. But so much of our political, I guess, world has just become personal attacks, right? Like, people are really just arguing to attack that person and arguing, you know, I don't know. I don't like the political state of the world, but I do think, like, it's improving slowly. I see more and more people basically calling stuff like that out, and that gives me hope that, you know, people are maturing and just realizing, you know, it's not okay to hate someone just because you don't like or belittle someone or attack someone. And, like, I'm talking about physical violence. Like, some people think you can be physically violent to someone because you don't like their political stances. That is actually not okay. That is mentally ill. That is mentally unstable to think you have the right to cause harm to someone. People wish harm on people because they don't like their political stances. Like, and then pretend to have a moral high ground. That is so wrong to me. Like, I don't care. If someone doesn't agree with me, I would never wish harm on them. I would never wish something bad happened to someone because we don't agree politically. Like, that just shows, like, who's mature and who's actually immature. But honestly, as I've said before, stuff like that happens because people are being literally manipulated and gaslit, basically, into I feel like people are being radicalized. That's the best way to say it. Like, some people are literally being radicalized by the media and political things to believe that people are so horrible and horrendous that they don't deserve life. And then they're taking those words very seriously and essentially saying, well, I can attack this person now because they're just the most inhumane person on the planet, and, you know, me attacking them is doing a service to humanity. Like, that's how radicalization happens. And it's subliminal, right? Like, people aren't outright saying, like, you should go attack that person, but it's like, it's the message, it's the underlying message that is in some of political, it's like, that's like been our political norm for a minute. So anyways, I'm just very much saying I don't agree with that. And like, whether or not you agree with Candace Owens or not, or whether or not you like are a liberal or a conservative, I don't hate you. I don't hate anyone based off of their political views. I respect all people regardless, because at the end of the day, I don't hold political stances as being the end all be all of existence or of the world. Like, what you think about politically, how you view the world politically, is not what I think makes someone a good or moral person. I don't base friendships around someone's political viewpoints. I wouldn't claim I wouldn't be friends with someone just because they don't share my political views. That's just not how I view the world, or that's just not I don't want to be a part of a system where I'm actively, attacking people or belittling people because of their beliefs. I don't want to participate in that, and I'm not going to. So that's all I'm gonna say about that. But anyways, I was gonna say something that I have been really enjoying watching on Candace Owens is her talks about the whole Justin Baldoni, Blake Lively, Ryan Reynolds, It Ends With Us, Colleen Hoover, all of that stuff going on. Now, I know it's like, it's celebrity drama at the end of the day. This is not like something that really personally affects me. I guess it's more so just, it's kind of entertainment, but I guess we shouldn't look at other people's, issues as being entertainment for our personal lives. But her coverage of it, I feel like, has been somewhat entertaining in a lot of ways. And it seems like a lot of people who even disagree with Candace politically are now like liking her content because of her coverage of that Justin Baldoni It Ends With Us lawsuit. And more people are being like, actually, you know what, Candace Owens, you should just become a celebrity gossip person, and then more people would like you, because we don't like your political views, but how you are covering this story makes us want to like you. But anyways, I feel like that's been like a big distraction, is just like all of the videos about that, amongst other things. At the end of the day, I feel like It Ends With This drama, in my opinion, just points to the larger issue, which I feel like is, people shouldn't make false claims of sexual harassment, or abuse the legal justice system as a way to, attack personal differences you have with the person. There's so much harm that can be done making a false claim against someone, especially sexual harassment, sexual assault, anything like that. There should be penalties in place as well, in my opinion, for people who lie about sexual harassment, which it negatively impacts, like, imagine you're someone who got falsely accused of something. Years later, it comes out that person was lying, but the damage has already been done at that point. Like, that person has already been on the receiving end, has already been told they're like this horrible person and undeserving of things. Like, all of the attacks, like, people literally attacked Justin Baldoni as soon as the article came out, where Blake claimed he sexually harassed her. And then he filed a lawsuit basically saying, like, this is all false. And once more information came out, people are suddenly like, oh, wait a second. Like, this is why you can't just start immediately attacking someone just because allegations are made, The truth And I never took sides, honestly, when it first came out. You know, even when the allegations came out, I said, you know what? This is why we have due process. This is why we have innocent until proven guilty. But people abuse the court of public opinion. And essentially, Blake Lively was banking on just the court of a public opinion, because Justin Baldoni faced immediate repercussions as soon as Blake Lively made her lawsuit. He lost an award. He was dropped from his agency. He wasn't even found guilty. Just because he was accused of it, he lost and was immediately punished by the world. And that, to me, is not okay. And now he has a counter lawsuit because Blake Lively did him harm just by an accusation. He wasn't found guilty. We don't know if that it's actually true, but because someone alleges you. And this is why I say you can't just blindly follow anything that someone says. You know, court of public opinion is not due process, because I can make a claim that someone did something to me and it can be a lie. And this is why lies hurt people and lies are so dangerous, because maybe Blake Lively didn't believe she was lying, but she definitely was twisting the truth. She left out a lot of information. She literally tried to trick people into believing something that wasn't actually true, because she didn't like, you know, how she was being portrayed in the press, and wanted to thought Justin Baldoni had done something to her, so she attacked him falsely, and now she's in the predicament she's in, where it's like no one even thinks they can trust her anymore, because she's now it's now gonna come out that she's willing to lie or manipulate people into believing something when that's not actually the truth, by giving people half truths. So I feel like a lot of things are going to come out about this whole entire situation, and when it actually goes to court, because I definitely think it should go to court. Like, you can't just, you know, accuse someone of sexual assault and that person face punishment. That person has the right to defend themselves. And I feel like the same thing kind of happened. I didn't really keep up with the Johnny Depp Amber Heard scenario, but it was essentially like a very similar situation where, you know, Amber Heard accused Johnny Depp. Now, who actually knows how these people are in real life? Like I said, I don't know any of these celebrities personally to really speak on their character. And, you know, I definitely think too, like, we need to stop putting celebrities on a pedestal to just begin with. You know, just because someone plays your favorite character, or just because you like someone's songs on the radio, does not mean they're actually good people. Which is why I feel like there's even this appeal of celebrity scandals to begin with, because anytime we catch a celebrity, you know, not actually being a decent human being, people are so shocked and surprised, and it's just like, oh, but he made this song I really loved, and oh, but he played one of my favorite characters on this TV show, movie. Like, just because someone's famous, just because someone can act, just because someone can sing, does not mean they're good people. And I've never deluded myself into believing someone playing a good character on a television show means they're good moral human beings. You know, your actions, at the end of the day, the truth will always come to light, right? But at the end of the day, as a Christian, I don't believe anyone's actually perfect. So am I shocked that some of these celebrities are actually very mean in real life? No. Because why would I assume someone being famous means they're a good person? A lot of them, I guess, maybe pretend to be. You know, I've mentioned before how we have this, this is why I feel like I mentioned this and I can't remember what I coined it, but basically the, being a social media, social justice warrior, you know, people literally hire PR teams to control the celebrity's public image. That is what a PR person's responsibility is. It's to create this image of that person to the public to persuade you into believing they're a good person. And you know, when it comes to that Selena Gomez crying video about, you know, the deportation and immigrations, her PR publicist probably told her, Selena Gomez, post this. It's gonna help people like you. You know, that people want to hear you talk about what's going on with ICE and all these deportations and the immigrants. You know, this is a great video to post. Do you think Selena Gomez posted that without running it by her publicist first? Probably not. Her publicist probably told her to post that because, you know, celebrities who weren't taking a stance. And I could talk about so much when it comes to this. Basically, just, you know, these celebrities often have to pretend to care about these social justice issues in order for their public image to be seen as a certain way. Whether these celebrities actually care or not doesn't actually matter, as long as you think they care. So that's what the publicist's job is to make you believe celebrities care about all of these issues that affect everyday people. Whether or not they actually do is, you know, just a matter of how good what their character actually is. So that's why I'm just like, they pay people a lot of money to make them look good. That's what a PR is for, to control the public's image of them. But a lot of these celebrities are not actually good people behind closed doors. I feel like we shouldn't really be surprised by that anymore. And Selena Gomez, pretty much, which I really have always really liked Selena Gomez. You know, I've never really thought of her as being, you know, I enjoyed a lot of her music when I was younger. You know, I was a really big fan of Justin Bieber, so when they were dating, I was like, I guess I like Selena Gomez. But I was a really big fan of her for a long time. You know, she claims to be a Christian. That is something that I feel like I honestly don't know if that's still the case for her, but I feel like she's always been loved by the public for the most part, until recently. Basically, this is why, the other thing, I feel like you can never appease to the public. You will never be able to please everyone, and I feel like that's the part of being a celebrity that is kind of like, you're going to be in a lose-lose situation. You are never going to be perfect in the eyes of everybody, but that's what I guess the goal is for celebrities. Want people to like them. They need people to like them. They want people to think that they're good people. And part of the lore, I guess, of the Blake Lively, Justin Baldoni situation is that up until this lawsuit, everyone loved Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively. And look how quickly the court of public opinion turned against them. You know, this is why I say, like, you'll never be able to... Everyone's not going to love you. You'll never be able to impress everybody in life. You'll never be able to... Everyone's not always going to love you. And I feel like the love that people have for these celebrities are very conditional. Like, I personally I would never want to be a celebrity and have people judge my every move and have people constantly telling me what I need to do. Or I would be someone who's unapologetically myself, which is essentially what I am right now, but I'm also not a celebrity. But a lot of celebrities basically just support whatever's popular, whatever, you know, they're told is the popular thing to support, because they want majority of people to like them. It's good for their business. It's good for their image. That's why celebrities have publicists to begin with, because their image is also very much connected to how much work they can do and how they will be able to get hired. And when people get canceled in the media, when celebrities get canceled, it literally impacts them being able to make money in their field. So it's a very, you know, kind of serious thing when celebrities are in like these scandals, because court of public opinion is essentially just whether or not the public likes you or thinks you. But there's also so much manipulation that goes into this, you know. This whole, like, there's publicists that can do hit pieces to like uplift and make or break people's images. So it's just like, you can't really even trust what you see in the media about half the celebrities, because the celebrities they tell you to love probably are the people who are doing not great things, and the celebrities they tell you to hate are probably people that are actually decent. They just have, someone's publicist is just much better at controlling the narrative. Someone who has more power, more money. I really want to try these blushes I got from Beauty Creations. I'm trying to decide which one. I think we're going to go with this Patrick one. So anyways, I just think you really can't trust everything you see on media. You know, every celebrity is not necessarily a good person. Behind closed doors, no one is actually perfect. So I don't know. I don't put expectations of people good. But I do think it's ironic that Selena Gomez went from being one of the most loved celebrities by everyone, but as soon as she made a video crying and pretending to not... This is what I mean. Like, people are mean. People in society are so mean. Cancel culture is actually wicked. Cancel culture is so, like... I will never support cancel culture. I don't care what someone did. I feel like people are so finicky. They will love you as soon as, like, even with James Charles, everyone hated him because of everything that happened in his past, and he was caught messaging minors, and then it's like years later we just pretend that never happened, and then we like him again, and then he does the thing with RFKJ, and oh, he's canceled. And some people, oh, he's been canceled. We've already canceled James Charles. There's no, like, love. There's no love in being, like, in that situation. People are going to find reasons to hate you. People are going to find reasons to not like you. I don't know. I'm not really for canceling celebrities. I'm just saying stop putting them on pedestals to begin with. These are flawed people. There is not a perfect celebrity that exists anywhere. So, okay, I have some options for highlighter. I have this one, and then I have this icy white one, which I kind of want to use this one, but there's like blue flecks in it, and I feel like this might throw it off, but we're gonna use it anyways, because why not? But yeah, I think though, I'm not gonna lie, I did find some of the things people said about Selena Gomez crying. And this is the thing, like, I think Selena Gomez tried to appeal to her followers when she made that video. You know, she was trying to appeal, because this is what Selena Gomez wasn't going to win, regardless of what she did. You know, people have been calling her out for years for being a Mexican and not talking that much about her Mexican culture. And then when she makes a video trying to appeal to the immigration problems that are happening in the world, people are still upset about her and saying, like, why are you crying? You're literally a billionaire. All you have to do is give money. Why don't you give money to these people so that they can afford to get the legal documentation to be here legally? Why aren't you donating to that? Why aren't you doing that? And, like, people are calling her out for her, you know, performative activism. That's what I feel like it is. Performative activism, which is where it's just like, people they want to demonstrate that they're these good moral human beings. So they do these performative things. They're performatively, you know, claiming to stand for and support whatever problems or whatever issues, you know, the public tells you you're supposed to support. And I say this on the basis of, you know, people just following the leader, just doing whatever people tell them you're supposed to support. You know, if it's popular to support Palestine, support Palestine. If it's popular to support Israel. But people just blindly essentially following whatever the media tells them is the right side of what they're supposed to support. And personally, for me, that's why I don't take sides in political things, because I'm like, I don't really care about what a political party says. I care about what is morally right and what is morally wrong. And that's what I stand for. I stand for the side of what is right and what is wrong. If it's right, it's right. If it's wrong, it's wrong. And a political party, in my opinion, does not, one, it's like neither political party, in my opinion, is always objectively right and the other is always objectively wrong. I feel like, you know, there's truth. There's only one truth, and I feel like there's only one right. There's only one wrong. So basically, I'm not deciding what is right or wrong based off of what a certain group of people say or what one political party says. What I believe is right or wrong, in my opinion, is always going to be directly correlated with the Bible, what the Bible says, what God says. My faith as a Christian, as I've always stated in all my videos, is what is most important to me personally. But anyways, Selena Gomez tried to appeal to what she believed her followers would like, and they still didn't like her. And they were making fun of her. Y'all, her biggest ops are her own followers. And I just think, like, the irony of her trying to make this video thinking, you know, people are going to be satisfied with the fact that she's so hurt about her people, the Mexican immigrants, you know, being deported. She thought she was appealing to her fan base, and they ended up being the ones dragging her through the mud the most out of everyone. They're like, Selena Gomez, we don't like you. First of all, you don't even speak Spanish. You're only proud to be a Mexican every now and again. It's just like the same people who claim to love her were the first ones who turned against her, or some people just use the opportunity to just bash her and cancel her. And I'm just like, Selena Gomez, baby, you'll never be able to please every single one of your followers. So you shouldn't try. You shouldn't try. I feel like stand for what you believe in. You should do the right thing because you believe it the right thing, not because you're doing it to please other people. It's like, what I believe is right, like, I'm going to stand for what I'm personally convicted about. If I'm going to make an argument for something, it's going to be something that I'm passionate about. And I feel like it's okay for people to be passionate about different issues in the world. Everyone can't be passionate about every single issue that exists on this planet. There's too many. That's why there's so many different people and so many different communities, you know? I feel like the issue that people are typically most passionate about are the ones that affect them personally, right? But just because, you know, there's an issue that affects you personally, there's still so many other issues that you don't know about that affect other people. And there's other people who are going to fight for those issues. And I feel like there's room for all of these issues to exist and be worked on. But everyone is not called to care about every single issue or personally have to fight for and support every single issue on the planet, because there's too many. Every celebrity is probably not going to hold the right stance on every single issue that's happening in the world. But what you should do is, like, your activism. I feel like people who want these celebrities to appeal to their personal, you know, convictions or personal issues that they think matter, you know, it's like, the irony of it is, like, why would you I mean, it's not that why would you expect that, but, you know, if you care passionately about something, you should do things to work on it. Expecting everyone to always care about issues that you care personally about is also in some ways a form of narcissism. You know, because there's an issue that I believe strongly affects people because it personally affects you, right? I think everyone's supposed to care about this issue because it personally affects me. But there's so many issues in the world, and I'm like, there might be an issue that affects someone else that doesn't affect you at all, and they're fighting for that issue because it affects them. Does that mean they're wrong for not, you know, speaking out against the issue that affects you? I don't personally think so. I feel like I said, everyone is called to fight for a different injustice happening in the world. Everyone can't care about every, let me say this better. I don't think you can't care, but I feel like you're not going to be passionate about every single issue happening in the world. There are going to be some people who are more passionate about that issue solely because it more personally affects them. And those people voices are the ones that will actually make the biggest change. But people who are not even close to that situation, who are feigning, you know, like I said, performative activism about that issue that is not even personally affecting to them, it's like you don't make as big of a change in that because you don't have the personal testimony or a personal story that is connected to the issue. And that's why I'm like, when it comes to certain issues on things, I want to hear people who are personally affected by it. I want to listen to those people, not the people who don't have a personal, you know, listening to, you know, people who aren't not illegal immigrants speak about their opinions on illegal immigration, I feel like is not going to be helpful. Because when you listen to the people directly impacted by illegal immigration and the people who are legal immigrants in this country, I feel like they can give you the best understanding of the problem. The people who aren't even illegal immigrants, the people who are not immigrants at all, like they didn't have to come, don't know anything about immigration. People who immigrated here legally know a lot more about our immigration process. And so I feel like those people's stories, voices on the issue are really the ones that matter the most. And of course, you know, illegal immigrants have their stories as well. And I feel like there's two things can be right at the same time. There's people who came here legally and they're rightfully mad seeing illegal immigrants get all of these benefits for being here legally when they paid all this time, money, effort to get here legally and follow the laws, to see people who cut essentially in line by getting across the border illegally, didn't have to spend the same amounts of money, didn't wait the time, get all of these benefits. They are angry in a way that I feel like is understandable. But you can also say, you know, there's people who came here illegally that were not necessarily in control of that. I feel like especially when it comes to like children don't have any control over where their parents decide to take them. But there's also another issue where a lot of children are who are being illegally legally crossing the border are being trafficked, which is a whole issue in itself. So it's just like there's so many different innuendos, and people just blindly will support whatever, you know, the court of public opinion tells them is the right stance to hold on that issue. And I feel like it's so important to be able to listen to the nuances in the situation. This is why I don't like listening to biased media. I don't like only hearing from one side of the aisle. And I try to listen to as many different opinions about an issue before I take a stance on it. So by the time I do have a stance on something, it's well formed because I've listened to people who I've listened to different stories, people who agree with me, people who don't agree with me, so I can have a better understanding of the issue overall. It's when you're only listening to an echo chamber of people who already agree with you that you miss having well-rounded opinions on issues. You know, because you're essentially just in an echo chamber of people who already agree with you, and you're not really challenging or growing in your opinions when you're just surrounded by people who already think like you. Anyways, I've talked a lot about, you know, my thoughts on a lot of different issues on here. But basically, I do find it, you know, the irony that I really just think it's impossible to appease every single person. And as a celebrity, I feel like, honestly, if I was a celebrity, I would stop caring. You know, find the issue that you're most passionate about and make that the issue that you are going to fight for. And I feel like I said, when there's a personal connection to it, it's a lot more persuasive when there's a when it's personal to that person. You know, if someone's gonna give a testimony about, if someone's gonna, you know, persuade you on something and they don't have a personal connection at all to what they're arguing for or against, you know, it's like, what stance is that person, what information is that person giving me? They don't have like a personal experience with it, right? It's like, you know, someone who's, if you're gonna talk about, I guess, racism or really any social justice issue at all, it's like, would you rather hear from, you're gonna be more moved by someone who has a personal experience with racism than someone who's just, you know, outside of it. You know, I've never experienced racism, but yada yada yada. I don't know. Like I said, I think it's like, you can care. I feel like there's nothing wrong with caring about other people. You should care about how things affect other people, but you shouldn't only care when it's people who agree with you. It's like, you should be willing to listen to different stories, because, you know, understanding the issues and the anger of people who came here legally and why they're frustrated about the illegal immigration process is just as valid, in my opinion, as, you know, caring about the people who are here illegally, who are just looking for a better life. Because I'm like, those can both of these things can be true and exist at the same time. And I feel like when people only care about or focus on one side of the problem and ignore the other one, you don't have a full rounded perspective on it. That's why I'm just like, you know, we can't only listen to the voices of people who already agree with us. Listening to people who challenge, who offer a different perspective that challenges you to have a more wide range approach to the issue, in my opinion, is always going to be important. Anyways, this is my makeup, and that's all I have to say.